highly wound for something that just can't be found, for something that just can't be found, that just can't be found. And I feel it all. I'm the only one standing, and I feel it all. Looking over this sea, and I feel it all. No use pretending right now. There's only one way out. There's only one way out. Don't look over your shoulder right now. Everything you do is turning sour. The rumors hold you ransom, baby. Don't let the demons lock you into the ground. My head is a honeycomb where the sorrow grows and grows. This darkness is my treasure trove. No, I can't let go of the sweet unknown. No, I can't let go of the sweet unknown. And I feel it all. I'm the only one standing, and I feel it all. Looking over this sea, I feel it all. No use pretending right now. There's only one way out. 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 There's only one way out.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host for this evening, Tobey Sol LaRoche. It's a pleasure to be with all of you tonight. This is sort of our soft launch, essentially, of the new form. We have a brand new website out there that's really, really cool. It's looking awesome, and it has a lot available to you, including live streams coming from both mainstream musicians and also local musicians. We have our live shows are actually going to be up on the site, embedded on the site as well. And it also has a awesome little blog section with previews and reviews of upcoming live streams and streams that have just happened. By the way, we are seeking new people to help write for us, so if you're interested, contact us, please. CouchMusic.Live. All right, we are the independent music lover's guide to live music experiences, as I said, from around the corner and across the web. As a live streaming cooperative, the Couch Music Live team brings together with the common purpose of providing a platform that helps musicians, venues, promoters, and labels navigate the complicated and suddenly digitized live music scene. So, that being said, tonight I am thrilled to bring you the first episode, let's call it, of the Live from the Red Couch series. We're hoping to have many more of these throughout this cold, dark winter ahead of us. Let's not get dark already, sorry about that. But we have a fantastic couple of human beings with us tonight. Very thrilled to have both Emma and Sam of Old Flame. I'm going to do a quick little read of their bio because it is so beautifully written, I don't want to mess anything up, to introduce these two wonderful musicians. All right, Old Flame is a machine of resistance. Born in the Amherst, Mass. DIY scene, the queer indie rock band spins grit and honey-rasp vocals into a psychedelic post-punk nostalgia with an afterglow of raw blues. Old Flame is comprised of Emma Ayres, Sam Perry, That's all. He's also over there, by the way. Hannah Rosenbaum of Sodada, who's not here tonight, and Nate Mondschein. Mondschein. Oh, I love that name, and I messed it up. Nate Mondschein of the Rooks, is also not here tonight, but you'll see and hear you'll hear a little bit from them later on. And since forming in 2017, Old Flame has been nominated by the Deli Magazine as New England Artist of the Month and released Wolf in the Heather EP. Now, this album documents the rise of the Trump presidency and was lauded by the Valley Advocate for its acid-tongued lyrics that rail against corporate capitalism and capture the spirit of proto-punk in a bottle. I love that. A rollicking anarchistic flair for damning it all to hell. In the words of Ear to the Ground music, Old Flame is retro and brand new all at the same time. I would definitely agree with that. And toes the line of vintage and psych rock. It is addictively good, unquote. They're here today in part to spread the word about their newest single, Limbs, in which was released in early October. We're going to get more to that later, and there will be a viewing of that music video they recently released at the end of this broadcast. But in the meantime, please join me at home with a loud applause that we can hear from all the way here at the Shea Theater, by the way, in Turner's Falls. We're so proud to be here at the Shea. Emma and Sam of Old Flame.
Woo!
Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you. I'm nervous. I'm not an interviewer by nature. This is my first time doing an actual formal interview. And I don't want it to be that formal. I mean, we're in a living room.
We're here in your living room. Come on. Just like chill, you know? Kick back.
It's going to be great. I'm not worried about it. Nerves are a thing that I've learned are just sort of a way to fuel yourself if you're able to use them right. So that's what I'm going to do my best to do tonight.
Yeah, they're a tool.
I would like to introduce you all to my co-host, by the way, the gold microphone. He's my best friend right now because he's making me feel like a rock star. Okay, the real rock stars are Sam and Emma here tonight with us. First off, I just want to say, this is your first live kind of experience or public kind of showing of any kind since COVID-19 has hit.
Correct.
From what I heard, right? Yep. And we rely on multiple people as people are a part of bands. I'm also part of a band, and we rely on all these multiple people to be part of the experience, and we have to respect everyone's individual concerns about risks and all that. So can you talk a bit with us about what it has been like existing as an artist and a member of a band during this challenging year, and what it has what it's taken to persevere sort of through all of this? And has it made your plans change? Tell us a bit about what it's been like during this time.
I mean, we definitely have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, big changes.
But I think one of the main takeaways is returning back to why you make your art. And you don't make it for the man. You don't make it to bow down to like the idols of capitalism. You make it because it comes from your heart, it comes from your soul, and it's like the truest form, sort of embodiment of yourself. And I think something that gets lost in the shuffle, in the grind, when you're constantly feeling this like push to have to crank out the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, is like the true love of the craft. So for me, and I know Sam can attest to this, and you should definitely chime in, but I think that like this time has been for me about just coming to a halt and just sitting with myself and healing myself and taking care of myself and getting rest and challenging and reconsidering the structure in which I was making my art before, which honestly was not sustainable.
I can certainly relate to that as well. And I've found a new impulse during this time as well to sort of start to create more and create again. A lot of that creation has turned into this new platform that we've created. And I'm sure everyone out there is experiencing this different, right? Some people are certainly still floundering because what they were relying on before this whole thing happened was so hugely part of their lives that it can be tricky, to sort of all of a sudden have to redefine yourself so heavily on the dime like that.
I think something that was really huge for you was just like discovering your own world.
Yeah.
You should talk about that.
Yeah, so I was actually talking to Tobey before we started the show. So I was furloughed from my day job, as was Emma, and many folks. And I had this stimulus check, so like I was okay financially, and I just had nothing but time. So I find it really interesting. I love to ask people, what did you do with that time? What drove you to act or not, or were you just bummed out that you couldn't do what you're doing before? And everyone's going to handle that in different ways. And for me, it was it was great. It was really great. I have so many ideas, so many musical inspirations that aren't necessarily for Old Flame. So to be able to say, hey, I have the time to explore whatever I want. I wrote a full-length record, that, like, sort of this experimental piece, just exploring all the different things that I love, just for me. Just because that's what I wanted to do. That's what was driving my soul. That was making me happy. It was making me not lose my mind during that time. And now it's become sort of this solo project that I'm planning to release at the end of the year. And I have 3 other albums that I have subsequently wrote.
That's pretty prolific. And you know, you guys are pretty prolific as it is. You have quite a few albums you've released since your formation. I don't know if it was formation in 2017, but that was certainly when your first album came out, right?
Yeah, well, so it's interesting timing because we formed directly after the election results of 2016, because we just had such a...
No, it was right before.
Was it right? Well, yeah.
We met, Sam and I went to college together, and we hadn't seen each other for years, and Sam moved back to this area from New York City, and we had breakfast October 2016.
I love that you remember this.
Oh my God, don't even get me started. I could even tell you what he ordered. Gluten-free toast, home fries, and 2 eggs over easy.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and an Americano.
Wow.
Yeah, don't worry. And we just talked about sort of the projects that we had been a part of, and sort of our artistic yearnings and what we wanted to make, and also sort of having this joint frustration and deep sadness for the world, and wanting to channel our art into something that felt more productive, and use the band as a platform to say something about sort of what we felt like was the great injustice of the 2016 sort of election of Donald Trump. And here we are full circle 4 years later, and we were both remarking, at the door, we were checking in the lobby, how we feel this like rejuvenation of energy right now, and it's really interesting that the band has now gone through a 4-year cycle.
Yeah.
And here we are again, late fall of 2020, and
what year is it?
I'm like, where are we?
It is very hard to keep track.
And we're feeling so like rejuvenated and energized and ready for like the next era of the band.
Wonderful. Well, I really want to get some music out of you too, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So let's get a first tune from Old Flame here. If you guys have not seen them in their full formation as a rock band on stage out in public before, you gotta, as soon as there's music happening like that again, you gotta get out to see them. One of the most entertaining, fun bands to watch, and their music is all really phenomenal. They've got amazing players with them. Definitely check their music out when we get back on the live scene together. It'll happen soon enough, don't worry.
Thank you, Toby.
Isn't it
Take it away.
wild that the last time we played, we were at Bishop's Lounge at the very end of February. It was like the last weekend of February.
Was that at the Bomb, or was it the one after? Was it a show
No,
after
it was,
that?
no, I'm not, I don't
It was
remember.
it was my birthday.
Yeah, it was a birthday show.
Just like on
and
Saturday.
it was packed to the gills, and then 3 weeks later, the whole world shut down.
Right,
So surreal. Anyways, what are we playing?
3 of Swords.
A little tune called 3 of Swords. So you say you're moving to the city, where the dreams ain't cheap, but the girls are pretty. Cross the border, dive into the blue, and oh, I can't ever seem to let go of you. No, I can't ever seem to let go of you. Oh, the neon lights booming like the sun, and the bars stay far outside. But there's you, businessman, sell me something I believe in. These dog days left me heavy breathing. The captive in the mirror has a leg up on me. Oh, he's fogging up my image till I can't see. Fogging up my image till I can't see. Oh, the neon lights, petty theft and little lies that say stay in the bar, stay far outside. But there's you,
All right. Thank you for that. Jeez, that was amazing. I feel like we can just go home. That was good enough, right? You guys are entertained enough, aren't you? Don't you wish you had these two in your living room right now? So by the way, I want to do a special thanks. I know I mentioned that we're at the Shea Theater, but I want to reach out and thank Linda and everyone who's involved in the Shea Theater for having this wonderful place available to us. If you've never been here, it's a really gorgeous spot. We're going to hopefully do a little bit of a sort of a tour of the venue on our first show for our launch weekend next weekend on Thursday with Eric Lee and Ursula Elms. We're going to do hopefully a little sort of historical tour and talk about the place a little bit. But I really love this space. I'm so glad we can be here today. It really makes everything perfect. And they had a red couch. Look at this. It's perfect for us.
Here she is.
How do you like that?
Oh, so lovely. Cool. So what is that song about?
Ooh, it's about a lot of things, but I think it's definitely one of the first love songs that Old Flame ever wrote.
I wanted to note on that because I love that your music is very highly political, but it's also like there's a good mix of love songs in there, and I think that's important in balancing out what politics can often bring up in people, you know?
Yeah, I think politics and love can even go hand in hand.
For sure.
You know, and in that song, actually, it kind of does. In a way, it's sort of a story of a country mouse moving to the big city. It was somebody that I was seeing who, you know, lived in this area and then ultimately moved to Boston. And sort of like the glamour and the sort of like dream of the city life. I mean, you know too well.
Yeah.
And that like businessman, sell me something I believe in. You know, like you're lured to the city with a job, but then suddenly your rent is really high and all your bills get higher, and maybe that city life isn't so glamorous. And it's sort of like a love song of like, of sort of like identifying sort of that change and that shift in this person's experience, and then also just sort of claiming, you know, claiming power through longing and the expression of longing. So.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that tune. I am going to ask you guys to play another one right away if you're down.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah.
let's hear some
Don't
more
get
music.
too comfortable there, Perry.
That's right, jeez. How dare you? You're on a couch, I know. But
You'll find me here at 11 p.m.
yeah, feel free to like get yourself as comfortable
back.
as you want. You know, they've already started drinking over there. We got glasses of wine.
It's Friday night.
That's right. What do you expect? I hope you all are having a nice cocktail at home by yourselves. No, hopefully not entirely by yourselves, but if so, just know that we're glad to have you as part of our experience here tonight. So,
Thank you for supporting local independent musicians.
Damn straight.
You're standing there, can't stop shaking, looking something austere. I know I've been a player, but I am playing any of my callous games here. And I know that sort of moan. Oh, your aim cut too close to the bone. Like while waiting for you on the mainland, we've lost at sea. Swore she'd be my golden subject. Now her heart's branded on my sleeve. And I know that sort of moan. Oh, your aim cut too close to the bone. Oh, I know that sort of moan. Oh, your aim cut too close to the bone. Oh, you don't think you're trouble, think you're lonely, think you're right, and I am here to change your worry, change your reason, change your mind. I would go around the world to tell you that you're to help undo what you thought you knew, to love you just the way I do, to love you just the way I do. Oh. I saw you standing there, can't stop shaking, something austere. I know I've been a player, but I ain't playing any of my callous games here. And I know that sort of moan. Oh, your aim cut too close to the bone. Well, I know that sort of moan. Oh, your aim cut too close to the bone. Your hooks sinking their teeth into my skin. I'm waiting in the water, waiting to let you in. She smiles like some old silent movie star, made for pictures she's meant to live forever. just the way I do.
That was truly beautiful. Thank you.
Rocking out with a mask.
I know, it's
I
not
need
easy.
like rock and roll straps that go from the top over the top of my head.
They definitely need to
Because I'm like,
design They need to design something for singers, you know, and people are active. You know, you're such a.
I'm an active performer.
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna say you're such an active performer. You're so engaging, and I can imagine you must have been like that as a child too.
I was a terrifying child. I was always like there's actually like a family video where my brother's a little bit younger than me, and I'm singing this song, and my mom's filming me, and she's like, Eli, give it a try, like sing. Now it's your turn, and I was like, I'm not done.
Some things never change.
Some things never.
Yeah, exactly. Wonderful. Well, is there anything in particular you want to say about that song? That was beautiful. You don't have to. There's no obligation.
Honestly, it's just like a love song to our audience.
Yeah,
it's a
I love
moment
that.
to like really, especially in our early days when we were really writing these like rollicking political anthems, railing against fascism, etc. It was a moment in our set where we could really
Little romper.
look to the audience and be like, hey, like I'd go around the world to tell you that you're beautiful. Just like a quiet moment of gratitude.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's well translated. I felt very loved listening to that song. So thank you.
Well, good. You should.
So I hate to do this, but I'd love to talk politics with you guys for a minute.
Heck yeah.
So if you know Old Flame, you probably know that they have quite the political edge about them. Just a quick little sort of recap of some of your music and your history. So you released 3 full-length EPs. I hope that's right. Is that right? Do you have another one that I don't know about?
Two full length. There was one really short acoustic thing that we don't really talk about, but
We buried her.
and then
in the back.
so two full length EPs and then a full length record.
Fair, there you go. Okay, so the ones I'm thinking of at least are their first one, which was Wolf in the Heather, which we mentioned
Yep.
before, which sort of was inspired and brought about by the rise of the Trump presidency and all that. And then your second, Hush Money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That debuted Hollow, which is an amazing song, which we actually heard in the intro today before the stream. If you got here early, if you haven't, check out Hollow. It's another beautiful tune. And I think is that one also released on Young and in Debt as well?
Yes, we re-recorded it.
Okay, excellent.
Because it was such a good song. We wanted to see if we could give it a little more punch and shine with a more pro recording.
And I think you did. That's the one that we are going to play at the end. Outro, so you'll hear that as well. And then, so there was this, your third album, Young and in Debt, which we just mentioned, has a song Pirated Video on it. The quote in there is, "I'm hungry for a revolution in the streets." hungry. She's a restaurant worker, remember. So politics for you as a band seemed to originate on more of like a national level, viewing like sort of national politics. And as time went on too, it seems that it shifted to be oriented. Of course, there's always anything grassroots translates up to a national level in a lot of ways. But tell us a bit more about your politics in general and how they have fueled your music, and also how they've changed over the years, affecting your music along with it.
Sure. Yeah, I think that first record, we were just so dismayed and angry, and we were just screaming, I mean, seriously, figuratively and literally. I mean, the song "Ain't a King" is just straight up, you're not our effing president.
Yep.
Not our president. And then "Hush Money" was a little more quiet despair, I think. Honestly.
Yeah, that's really
right?
good.
I mean, it was.
It definitely reflected sort of the way people were feeling in 2018. We were like halfway
Right.
through
Yeah.
this time,
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
And then moving into Young and in Debt, it became more, okay, this is where we're at. What are issues that we can tackle? So like that record is about the weight of student loan debt on young people and how crushing that is. So that, I mean, that song that's what it's about. And I think just in terms of organizing, that's like Emma's thing. And so I think we sort of felt the need to scream at first, and then I think that scream felt like it was maybe lost a little bit in the void. And so then we kind of trimmed things down. It's like, what can we do on in our community to make a difference?
Yeah, and I think like the political ethos of the band definitely, at least from my own artistic contribution, comes from my deep-seated love for old folk music. When you think about like the origin of like Woody Guthrie, Pete Seeger, and you know other folks in that folk movement, a song is dangerous. And if you get a room full of people singing a song, that is a very powerful way of communicating a message. And I mean, you know, when you think about Pete Seeger, he was literally blacklisted by the American government for being, you know, they were like, he's a commie. But it was really, the fact of the matter was that he was so prolific as an artist. He had these huge halls packed with, you know, with citizens of this country singing his lyrics that dreamed of a world of equality. This land is your land, this land is my land.
Just gonna say, yeah, you know, this land is your land. It's not. They were frightened, and rightly. It's now sung by like every child growing up through elementary school and preschool.
And you think about what a song can do and how it has a power to really shift you know, these structures that we have in place, shift oppression, shift the patriarchy, shift all of these oppressive structures of like, you know, white patriarchal capitalism. And you know, and something that also really inspires me is like when you think about like the Dixie Chicks, or you think about, or they actually go by the Chicks now, but like they really spoke out against the Bush administration, and they also got blacklisted by the American country music scene, you know. And time after time again, you have these stories of really prolific artists in multiple genres that really use their song as a vehicle to speak out against injustice and recognize the power of their stage and the privilege when. What are you gonna say? And I think that's a question that we've continually asked ourselves. We're like, okay, we have, you know, these listeners, what do we wanna say to them? What do we wanna communicate to them? And we've always felt a great sense of urgency.
Yeah. Definitely. And I hope that everyone out there who's a musician or a creator of any kind, who has that option to be, or the ability to be on a stage, whether that be virtually or on a physical stage in front of people, realizes their power. You know, I think it's really good for people at home who might be budding musicians, budding artists, or are to realize that that's part of what you can do as an artist. You have the ability to capture people's attention. And you guys do this so incredibly well, by the way. I'm just always very impressed. I'm always very drawn into everything you're doing. And so it's just been fantastic.
Thank you.
Anything else that you want to say in that kind of realm right now?
I mean, go ahead.
I just think, you know, I just loved the sentiment you were just saying about the importance of realizing the power you have as a performer. Even if it's just to provide an escape, right? That's a service you're providing, you know, that's, I think everyone should always be very cognizant of the platform that they're on and the fact that what you say matters. Always.
Absolutely.
I guess like, you bringing up politics, I can't really not say this right now, but I just really feel like for anyone watching and anyone listening, the work is not done.
Yes.
Just because Joe Biden won does not mean that we suddenly go back to an America that is going to serve, you know, the majority of the population. That is not true. Joe Biden will serve a very small percentage of the population, and it's really good that we're not being led by a fascist dictator, but we're still being led by a corporate America, and that is also criminal in its own right. And so we need to keep our eyes open, and we need to continue to stay engaged. We need to stay in the streets. We need to keep making demands for the world that we want to live in, because the fight is not over. And I really do need to say that, like, I think something that is exciting to me, even though I was definitely, I did vote for Biden, but I was not thrilled about that vote. I will say that it is exciting that now we are fighting for change instead of fighting against all of this is just going majorly backwards. Hopefully we can take to the streets and fight for something better instead of fighting, you know,
to maintain the rights we've already earned.
Right, and push for something better instead of, you know, constantly having rights and equality revoked. So I think there's hope, but stay awake, people.
Definitely. Staying conscious, staying awake, staying alert. You know,
engaged,
exactly. Stay engaged. It's very important to stay hopeful. Hope is important, but it's not the only piece. You know, we have to maintain the energy and the momentum that we have going to really push. And I am, the hopeful piece for me is that we are going into a new time with a new president who's not, yes, Joe Biden is Joe Biden. He is what he is. However, there has been so much pressure on him, and we can definitely hope that pressure that's been put on him to make some real change is significant, and that will pay off in some regard. But we got to keep pushing if that's going to happen. If we get comfortable and say, oh, well, you know, we're just, you know, things are going back to normal, Trump's gone, big sigh of relief, That's not enough.
Not the time for it.
It's not enough.
Right.
We should use this momentum we have going. And I think we're in a good place to do a lot of good work collectively.
I agree.
So we should
Hands
definitely
down.
just
Right.
keep on
Yeah.
rolling.
Well,
I'm
even
over it.
his policies that he ended up running on, many were much further left than they would have been if it wasn't for Bernie's presence.
Right.
And he, I think, really was able to push Biden's platform a lot further left. So that's already our voices saying, hey, this is what we need in order to vote for you. So that's happening, and you need to keep pushing.
And I think it's really important for like folks who identify as progressives to continue to really like highlight and celebrate like and really like shed light on the fact that like a lot of the Democratic success was entirely due to the progressive movement, and it's really important to continue to like lean into that sort of that vision for radical change and not just settle into sort of like moderate bliss.
Right.
I really could talk all day about this.
I can tell. Rightly so. We do want to try to keep moving here.
Okay. Got to be careful getting me talking politics, Toby.
Now for something completely different.
Yeah, right.
So this
take it away.
is a song called "Smoke Show." This is how we usually end all of our shows. It's sort of our anthem.
And this one, I will say, goes out to Toby, because Toby is just such a remarkable organizing force in this community in terms of serving the independent artists here. Toby, you are so loved.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's so good to see your
Seriously.
face. Even this much of your face.
All right.
Slow and steady, moving towards me. Hand, I'll do better next time. Here before me, smoke show talking. Won't be waiting for you to come around. Smoke show, don't hold on to something born to be gone. Ain't no pageant raised on vision, feed you dreaming, you're standing alone. Oh, be careful, hands reach for you, eyes in the forest, think you'll fall for anyone. Smoke show, don't hold on. Something. Smoke show, don't hold on to something born to be gone. Slow and steady.
Moving towards me.
Hands are shaking. I'll do better next time. And I'll try. Oh, and
that song so much. So you guys can stream that song in some places probably.
That's
Oh,
true
yeah.
indeed.
Where do you prefer people to go to check out your music?
You know,
You can go wherever you like,
well, no,
Spotify.
You go wherever you like.
But you should go to Bandcamp and buy it
Yeah, I
from
was gonna
artists
say
directly.
Spotify.
It's criminal.
Is it
kinda
every Friday that
criminal.
Spotify does that deal for bands? Where all the
No, that's
proceeds-
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp.
Oh, I mean Bandcamp though. Is Friday the
They've been doing it a lot.
Once a month.
Okay,
Yes.
once a month. That's awesome.
So for those of you who may not know, Bandcamp is probably one of, if not the best platform for musicians to share their music, where you can buy your album, an artist's album directly from them, and Bandcamp usually takes a small cut, but during the pandemic, one Friday a month, they've been dropping all their fees, and so you know that your money will go directly to the artist. So that's really the best place. But for all you streaming fans, for convenience, whatever you have, Apple Music, Spotify, we're on all that stuff.
Wonderful,
So
wonderful.
check it out.
So if you're just joining us, we're here with Old Flame. Emma Ayres and Sam Perry here, 2 of the 4 official members of the band, although sometimes I think you expand that a little bit on the stage, right? Or is that about it usually?
That's right. Yeah. It's 5. 5 for a bigger live show. So it kind of expands.
It ebbs
in
and
tracks.
flows.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Nate he's kind of the bass and drum guru, so he can't do both on stage live potentially. Well, maybe he could. I don't know. Have you tried?
We'll see.
We've yet to try that.
When it's safe to be, having big old shows again, you may see Nate being like,
Have you begun to at least socially distanced rehearse a bit?
yes, we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah. Oh, we just started.
A couple weeks ago.
Emma and I were doing a lot of writing in the park, actually, in Child Park in Northampton over the summer, just kind of socially distancing, getting together, and just writing on acoustic, and that has led to some fruitful songs that you'll hear a little bit later. Yes, but as a full band, we only just started getting together again.
And that was the most glorious moment.
Oh my God.
Like talk
Felt
about
so good.
like realizing how easy it is to take something for granted. And then we were all sitting socially distanced on this stage, and I was just crying in my mask. It was just so joyful, and it was a reminder. It's so easy to lose this in the shuffle of what matters. And music and art making is the only thing
Yeah.
that matters to me.
Playing music with other people is my therapy.
Yeah, same here.
When you really connect, and we're very, very lucky to have a group of musicians and dear friends that are collaborators in this project who we really understand each other as musicians, and we really click, and we write together so well, and that magic is, you can feel it. It's a buzz in the room, and that is just the greatest high there is for me, and so it felt so great just to get back together again.
Also, we have I think something that's really special about this band is that we're all really good friends, and that is, I think that even though we all are very distinct personalities, we've managed to have the most balanced and healthy relationship with each other, which
Yeah.
I actually think is really remarkable, because this is the best collaboration I've ever had musically.
It's great to have the hang be just as good as the music, right?
Heck yeah, that's right.
Absolutely, that's awesome. And so if you don't know Old Flame, they're based out of Western Massachusetts, Northampton technically, but I think people are scattered a little
We're
bit.
everywhere.
Yeah, we're sort of all up 91.
And here in Western Mass, so this is in this area, it's a very vibrant LGBTQ community. And you refer to yourself as a queer indie rock group. So I would love if you could talk to us about your relationship with the LGBT community and why including this label is important to you.
And so we didn't always include that label. And so it's kind of connected to our earlier question about still being political, but in a different way, engaging in a different way. And that label has sort of always been part of our identity. But I think now it's really important that we sing it loud and proud, because right now those rights for LGBTQ plus people are at risk, and so it's really important to stand strong and proud and be yourself, be unapologetically yourself.
And also, I think something that we're all really passionate about, because I think we've all had moments in time where we've been educators, is sort of the need for like younger generations to have like a social mirror. And when I think about like what I found comfort and solace in as like a young queer who was like deeply buried in the closet was like music. I attached myself to queer musicians and folks who courageously step forward with their identity and you know, use their platform to speak out and celebrate their queer identity. And for me, I didn't always feel fully comfortable owning that label, but that's really changed for me. And I think like I feel very passionate as you know, as the vocalist in this band and as a musician to really to say, hey, like young person out there who's navigating this identity, like here we are, and you're gonna be okay. Like it's gonna be okay. You're not alone, exactly. And that's huge.
Exactly.
And that like queer looks and queer. There's no one way queer looks. That's also another thing. There's like you can never assume somebody and how. That's really important, I think, with this band as well, because we all have our own like queerness that we identify with, but maybe we don't look like what you think queer looks like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably one of the more at risk, you know, groups. You know, well, it's a larger group, but obviously they're more at risk. A lot of people are at risk right now. Like everyone is being threatened right now. It feels like it's hard to feel like there isn't a group of people that isn't under threat unless you're, you know, like me, basically. So I have my problems too. But,
yeah. Also, you have student loan debt, I'm sure.
Yeah,
that. So
you
it's
know
just
it.
like, man.
Exactly. We all have something.
Yeah.
But I know you've also. This is a little bit connected. So I'm going to go ahead to my next question here, which is that you've done some projects that I don't know a lot about, and I'd love for you to talk to me a bit about them. You recorded the exclusive acoustic collection Emily tapes, which was made in Emily Dickinson's Amherst bedroom.
Yeah.
Do you want to address that at all? Like, what was that like?
So
This is like haunted material.
okay.
Nobody knows about this really because we erased it from our.
That's the one.
Admittedly, the recordings themselves weren't that great. So we kind of stopped distributing.
I truly can't find them. I've tried. I can't find them.
Good. We'll keep the intrigue up.
Tell us about the intention behind that work. How about that?
So was it like a competition? Or
No,
how did you get the opportunity
we played a show on the grounds of
like
the Emily Dickinson house when we were but a baby band. It was just us two, and they were like, okay, so we don't have money to pay you, but the way that we'll pay you is we'll give you 2 hours in Emily Dickinson's bedroom, and you can basically do whatever you want. And we were like, okay, and we were like, let's record an EP. So we were like, maybe the ghost of Emily will be speaking through this EP recording. And so we recorded it, and then we released it, and we got this like, you know, honestly, I'll just say, like, it was definitely a misunderstanding. No bad blood here, but it's just kind of humorous now that I look back at it, because we released the EP like very innocently, and
we took a Polaroid.
And we took a Polaroid in the room of us with like this figure of Emily.
And apparently that was like no bueno.
That was a faux pas, and they were like, you need to basically eliminate any sort of
like sign
that you were in the Emily Dickinson room.
Yeah.
So we literally had printed all of our albums, and Sam
we had printed like 100 of these
DIY albums, and Sam took
acrylic paint, and I just painted over
white.
everything.
Whited it all out.
That wasn't me or Emma.
Which wasn't either us, and we still did the release, and the whole sort of theme of the night, we did it at Iconica Social Club, and it was just like a small little thing that we did, but we had everyone come like dressed up. We dressed in white because that was kind of one of Emily's sort of things. We had everyone come and dress in white, and we had some folks read poetry, and we performed this EP. And it was just, I don't know, it's like one of those hilarious stories along the way, but we always laugh about it.
Well, you guys could update your bio and take that out of there. It's still in there.
Well, thank you, Toby.
Thanks for that, Toby. Although one cool thing about that photo,
that's right.
There is, and I tried not to paint over this part, in the corner of the photo is like a light orb. Ooh. And that the property is known to be haunted, and
I've seen the light orb.
You caught Emily.
Honestly, I think we did.
And honestly, like, it was so ridiculous when we heard from the museum, because I know that they have, again, no bad blood to protect their whole interpretation of Emily. But in my mind, I was like, Emily was our rock and roll star, because in her time she was writing radical poetry. No one else was writing. Nobody understood what she was writing. She was like a punk artist.
Yeah.
So I felt like, I don't know, maybe it's giving us too much creative liberty, but I was like, Emily Dickinson's a fucking rock star.
Well, I'm glad that you're willing to talk a bit about it, despite it being something from your past. You're trying not to dredge up too often. Let's talk a bit about another thing. This night of primary source performance. Working in concert with the Women of Rock Oral History Project to showcase women in rock who've been underrepresented or not represented at all by journalism.
Well, first of all, shout out to Kara, who's like the literal genius behind the curtain over here. But that was the night we met Kara. But this was actually, I had a brief stint in graduate school, and I promptly dropped out before the end of the first semester because I felt all of my ancestors screaming at me like, "What are you doing? Make music!" And I was like, "You're right." But anyways, this was a grad school project that I had, and Sam got on board, and basically what we were trying to do, we were working with this amazing organizer in sort of women's and LGBTQIA rock history, and her name's Tanya, and then her last name is escaping me at this moment. But basically the project was, pardon?
Pearson?
Pearson, yeah, Tanya Pearson. And she and myself basically were trying to create a Wikipedia page for women identified and LGBTQIA identified rock and rollers from the Valley. And we realized that the only way we could make this happen is that there's all these sort of like regulations on Wikipedia because it is policed by patriarchal standards of what is valid. And and so we realized that the way that we could make this happen was we had to have an event happen in a place that was of repute. And then we had to have multiple articles written about that event so that all the artists that were participating in that event could then be written up on Wikipedia, because you have to have multiple primary source resources to be able to identify an artist as a valid artist. So we made this event, and it was like a whole night of music from amazing musicians from all around the Valley, some of which will be on the show. And
that's also where we met Hannah.
And that's where we met our synth
keyboard
player. Yeah, it was a really prolific night of networking.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Awesome. And was that, so how early on did you say that was?
Was that like probably the second
Early
year?
2018?
It's 2018, yeah.
Okay, so you've been established for a little while. Then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, I really, we're actually going pretty long right now. I still want, it's okay. We're having a great time. This has been really fun. What I'm going to do is ask you guys to play a couple more songs.
Great.
And then we'll talk a bit about limbs, and then we'll move on.
Great.
Awesome.
All right.
Great.
Some more music from Old Flame, everybody.
So this tune was written right at the onset of the pandemic. Never played for anyone. Doesn't even have a name.
Tell them you're doing well while you cry out. Where are all my angels now? They told us to buy a house, told us to shut our mouths, said keep your voice down. Won't always be around. Oh, sorry you can't save me now. I'm on the outside looking in. Can't disappear
whenever we reach the end that I'm staying. Maybe I was always playing. Oh, sorry you can't save me now. I'm on the outside looking in. Can't disappear completely. Oh, it's just the way it's always been. Baby, I was scared to say I'm going away. Don't wanna live like I'm trying. Don't wanna live like I'm trying. Don't wanna live like I. Thank you. So this next tune kind of came together in Child's Park this summer and has been haunting me in my dreams. And we've never shared it with the world. And we're going to be going into development starting next week. So
Yeah.
it's an honor to share it with y'all tonight. Thank you again so much for tuning in and supporting local independent music making here in the 413. It's so glorious to sing live for you tonight. I'm so low, the doctor says I'm barely breathing. Tell me something, I got nothing to believe in. Don't wanna hesitate while dreaming of the big time. Somewhere in the half light, I remember what it was to shine. I'm calling out your name at 2 a.m. again. I burn the night shift like a candle at 2 a.m. Here's to thinking all this time I lived in sin. The fire door's locked down, the house is caving in, and I can't keep waiting, and you can't keep wringing your hand. Somehow I was mistaken, and now I'll never understand. I think you'd throw a party if I made you lose your mind. There's no way out to make it back here in time. Are you feeling lonely because I forgot to write? I'm always coming when I'm leaving you behind. And I can't keep waiting. You can't keep wringing your hand. Somehow I was mistaken. Now I'll never understand. I should have known. 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 And I should have known. And I should have known. I should have known. And I should have known. And I should have known. And I should know. I should have known.
Very well done. Oh my
Thank
gosh. I cannot wait to hear what you do in the recording. I mean, you elicited a bit of a tear out of me, in all honesty.
Oh my God, Toby.
Part of it is the song itself. Part of it's just like being around musicians is fucking great right now. But yeah, this has been really. Thank you. Yeah, right. Being around each other is wonderful when we can, and we can do it safely. You know, we are loaded up with hand sanitizer, and I got wipes to wipe down all the well, it's my microphone, but wiping down the microphones and the surfaces. We're trying to do this as safely as we can.
Wear your goddamn masks.
Wear your
people.
mask, please, out there. For me, please. If not for yourself, please do it for me.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
I'm a diabetic.
And you can look hip as hell.
Yeah, I'm a
this
diabetic.
Mask. Look at this mask. Look at that
Yeah,
mask.
right? They're beautiful.
It's a fashion
This was
piece.
made by our friend Angel, who makes these beautiful old 78 masks from scratch. It's like
Nice.
embroidered.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we're almost done here. I wanted to talk really quickly about Limbs. We're going to show you the music video that was released very recently at the beginning of October, or mid-October, in just a minute. It's been really, really special, and I really hope that we can keep doing stuff like this. We are always going to be paying attention to how this illness is spiking in our area and trying to be very cautious in any ways that we can to do this safely. And thank you for being part of that and being willing to wear your masks and keep pulling it up. I know it's hard to deal with that thing. And but yeah, thank you. This has been really special. Okay, so Limbs. It's a fantastic song, by the way. First of all,
Thank you.
The music video is actually really fun to watch. I know it's
Yeah.
which is great because the lyrics are always very meaningful and very, very good. It's worth emphasizing the words. I'm literally going to read again something that was written about it because on your Bandcamp, because you guys put a lot of care into everything you do, every element of what you do. You put a lot of care into your artwork. You put a lot of care into write up about yourselves. You put a lot of care into the music you create and the way you execute your music. And I just got to say, not every musician is out there putting in as much effort and as much care into what they're doing as you are. So thank you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Toby.
Thank you.
By the way, part of what we're doing,
I know.
at CouchMusic.Live is attempting to get Western Mass's music scene on the map, because there is so much talent happening in this area. So if you see this stream and you're not familiar with Western Mass, or maybe you are, share this video, share our future streams. We have a whole weekend from Thursday through Sunday coming up next weekend, and just keep on spreading it, share it, like it, comment on things, do whatever you can, because the way we engage with music has changed dramatically, and we have to adjust the way we interact with the music as fans. So keep that in mind moving forward. Please, please tip these guys. They didn't have to be here tonight. They chose to be here tonight. They're not going to get any money from us. I don't have any extra money to give them. So please, if you want to support what they're doing, their money, I guarantee you, will go towards a good place and towards more great music. So please tip them generously. We've got our PayPal and our Venmo listed on the bottom of the screen, so please take advantage. All right, so Limbs is a coming out story, first of all. It describes the ingredients of tangled love. It is an ode to the days of suppressed feelings and aching guilt. Quote, "When I was old enough to write in my museum of dreams at night, spill my love for you to miss, 'cause I burned my diary with a matchstick." Quote. The haunting cinematic sounds of Hannah Rosenbaum's synth are the dreamscape of the song, punctuated by Sam Perry's lush, delay-laden guitar, and the intimate lines of Nate Mondschein's resonant bass. Emma Ayres' vocals are up close and personal as if you were reading the pages of her diary over her shoulder, and she does not know that you were there. Limbs is an alt-rock shoegaze density about embracing your identity and living as your truest self against all odds. It is the lie you told in Two Truths and a Lie. It is the risk you take every day. The rich instrumentation and the raw vocals create the ultimate feeling of Sodada, I hope I pronounced that right. The dissonance that comes when you look back on bad times with nostalgia because you don't know how to be happy. Intoning harmonies and pictorial lyrics cast a spell that truly... Thank you again for coming out. We're going to introduce you to the movie right now, Limbs. Enjoy.
When I was old enough to write in my museum of dreams at night. Spill my love for you to miss, 'cause I burn my diary with a matchstick. You were always shining bright. I was aching just to feel your light. To myself, I can't have to your face. Maybe we were never right. Honey, I was born to lie to your face. Still, I want you all the time. Or the answer to the reason why nothing ever grew. Me back in the shadow. How do when I get this low? Catch my breath with a spoon. Hold me in your eyes like a moon. Honey, I was born right to your face. Still, I want you all the time.
All right, so apparently we're having some technical difficulties playing you the video. So if what I said about it excites you, please go and check it out on YouTube.
Yep.
Where else can you find it?
It's streamed on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel, Old Flame Official. So please go check it out.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again, you two, for coming in. This has been a real treat, and it's a perfect launch for all the things we're hoping to do with this new project. So thank you for being part of it.
Of course. Thank you so much for having us. This was such a nice release, because like you said at the beginning, this is the first time we've done anything live.
We were
These outfits are coordinated.
They're coordinated.
So everyone knows.
Just in case everyone was wondering.
Well, you both look fantastic, and you brought in a lot of great props. I wish I had interacted more with them, but we got books and all this great
Next
stuff
time I want
here.
contact improv all over.
Yes, I almost got up and danced behind the couch. I don't know why I didn't. I probably should have. I was gonna cut into your scene and dance around. Maybe I'll consider doing that in the future for future shows. Well, thank you again. Is there anything else you care to say to people? You guys?
Well, just one quick thing. This time more than ever, independent artists need you to support them, and I highly encourage you to take a moment and on your Friday night, your Saturday night, your Sunday night, go on Bandcamp, do a little research, dig around, maybe listen to someone you've never listened to before. Following someone on Instagram goes a long way. Take a moment, dig through those different sort of social media platforms, and maybe even encourage your friends. If you find a musician that you really like, a new independent artist that you really like, share it with your world. Again, we are here because you are here, and that doesn't cease to exist even in this virtual medium. So keep showing up to virtual shows. I know we all miss the live medium. This is what we have right now. Keep tipping artists for their performances, and keep supporting your local venues. Many venues are selling gift certificates right now, selling merch right now to stay afloat. Just keep your ear to the ground to the needs of your community and do the best that you can to show up for everyone right now until our government can show up for us.
Right on. Thank you for that. Yes, and that fully embodies all the stuff that CouchMusic.Live is attempting to do right now. We have an opportunity for you to continue to support the couch music scene, but also independent musicians as well in the area. This coming weekend, so next weekend, I guess, actually, the 19th to the 22nd, we are doing our official launch celebration weekend with 4 shows in a row, 4 nights in a row, here at the Shea Theater, actually, once again. And that's going to be Eric Lee and Ursula Elms on Thursday, the 19th. On Friday, we have the Gaslight Tinkers, they're awesome. If you don't know these bands, look them up and find out why we've gone out of our way to get them here for this weekend. On Saturday, we have Kamaya Diggs and her partner Jacob Rosaza. I hope I said his name right. They are also two of the more phenomenal musicians I've seen in this area. Kamaya's music is really beautiful, definitely worth checking out. And on Sunday, we are wrapping things up with Weege and the Wonder Twins. If you don't know Lexi Weege, again, another performer you really gotta check out. She's also very animated and very engaging of a performer. So please do whatever you can to support what we are doing, because what we are doing is trying to support what they are doing. We are a platform for artists and musicians to get recognition, to have exposure during this challenging new time. You know, we're in a new world, as I said before, where we have all sorts of new ways to go about seeing live music, and as musicians, it is a really challenging time if you don't have the support from your fans, and unfortunately are against us. So we need you to like the posts, to share the posts, to engage with the posts. Commenting is crucial as well. All of these things trigger the algorithm and make it be seen by more people. This is how it works. So please help us in any way you can in that regard. And again, tipping as much as you can. And you know what, even if it's just $1, I mean, I feel like an NPR person right now, but like, the truth is, like, even the smallest donation counts. Even the smallest amount goes a really long way. If all the people who view the stream, which by the way is sometimes in like the thousands by the end of the stream being over, if every one of those people had given $1, musicians wouldn't have to worry about money at all. So if you can just give $1, please, or if you feel generous, give more. So in any case, if you want to be part of the streams next weekend, please go to the event pages on Facebook. You'll find them on the CouchMusic.Live Facebook page, or check them out on our website, www.CouchMusic.Live. It's a great little website. We've got some previous streams embedded. This will be up there eventually, hopefully, if we get it working. And yeah, and check out the streams will be accessible there at the top of the homepage on the little scrolling thing. You'll see them. Register through Eventbrite. And if you do so, it gives you an opportunity to give some money right up front for your ticket, but no one's going to be turned away. These streams will all be broadcast on Vimeo, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website. So thank you again for coming out. I've been Tobey Sol LaRoche. I've been your host tonight. I really look forward to the next time we can be together next weekend, rather Thursday. It's coming up fast, the 19th. Love you guys. Be good.
Original truth, horizon line like row of teeth, can't move the weight from underneath. Somewhere there's a white tower, inside there lives the lies and power. Have to pay your way up the stairs, cause the man at the top only wants it all. The only way to live is to buy something you can't pay back. I'm crazy. heart, you fight.